What is up, YouTube? Jamie the Kid00 here, coming to you guys with my first deck profile of the World Superstars set. This set came out, I guess you can consider it yesterday. Today's Saturday. Today's the first weekend of the set being legal. I didn't have a locals today, but I still went off to my local store and picked up a couple boxes of this. So I figured I'd get a deck to put together to actually show you the first thing that I'm able to build from World Superstars. There's actually a lot of rogue picks I've had the skeletons for a while, and I was really glad to be able to actually finally bring them to you after having some of them sat around in my binder for about 2 years. This deck is precisely one of them. I've had this Chronomaly core for the better part of 2 years, since YCS Sheffield, since it was Return of the Duelist was relatively new. And I'm just finally glad to actually be able to do something with it, basically. It's been sat in a jank binder for ages. I've finally been able to bring you a deck profile. So this is going to be a profile of Chronomaly. This is, in my opinion, the most popular version of this deck there ever was in the OCG, of course. Back when Moraltach was at 3, back when Primal Origin came out, when we were kind of fanatical about Hat and everyone else, well, everyone in the OCG was fanatical about this thing. It's just it's a pretty damn solid deck. So I figured I'm just going to dive right into this profile because I've been having a bit of fun with it. I've only managed to test it so much against Rescue Cat Duelist Sylvans so far, but it's something that obviously saw a lot of success in the past, so I thought I'd try and revitalize it to today's meta standards. So, to start off the list, I'm actually going to be reading the Chronomaly cards because not many people know what they do unless they studied the OCG. So we play 3 copies of the most hyped card for the archetype, Chronomaly Nebra. This is the Stratos. When you normal summon this, you can search your deck for another Chronomaly monster that isn't this card, which is kind of cool when you have another Chronomaly card which is a searcher which you can discard from hand, so you can go, if you are so inclined, summon this, add this, ditch it, and search a new one. So this, if that parameter of its effect is really irrelevant. And also, when this guy is in the grave and you control only Chronomaly monsters, you can special summon it from the grave as a level 4. And however, when he comes out as by that effect, he does lock you into only using Chronomaly effects that turn. But it's really quite useful for certain Xyz plays as well. So the 3 Nebra Disc, the big hype card. We're then playing 3 copies of Chronomaly Crystal Skull. Crystal Skull, of course, pairing with the Bones, which we'll get to in a moment. Chronomaly Crystal Skull is kind of your Necros of Brainac of the deck. You can discard this guy from your hand to the grave to search your deck for any Necros, any Chronomaly monster you want, other than, of course, itself. However, you do have to control a Chronomaly monster to activate it, and as is the same with every other Chronomaly in the deck, you can only activate its effect once per turn. So it's the 3 Skull, which are your Necros of Brainac. We then play 3 Chronomaly Crystal Bones, which is kind of a hard card for me to equate to something else. It's like a Cyber Dragon in that you can special summon it when your opponent controls a monster and you control none. However, when you do special summon it, you can then target 1 Chronomaly monster in your hand or graveyard, except for another Crystal Bones, and special summon it. So the cool thing about Skull is, as you'd think, it goes well together with Bones. You special summon the Bones, and you can immediately special summon the Skull from the graveyard, which gives you a pretty nice rank 3 play. And if you tandem that together with the 2 copies of Chronomaly Golden Jet we play, it can lead to some quite nice rank 4 plays. Chronomaly Golden Jet is the simple effect of once per turn, you can increase the levels of all Chronomaly monsters you currently control by 1. So it's pretty cool like that. So what your biggest play in the deck, and this is kind of like the main kind of objective play, I guess, is to have this, and this. One of each is kind of what you want. You would normally, like, say if you opened, like, a Skull and a Nebra Disc, you could go normal the Nebra, search Bones to your hand, so your hand is now this, you discard the Skull, search Golden Jet, like, say that your opponent, like, you then pass, like, it's a 2-turn thing, you then pass, say the Nebra Disc dies, you can then special summon the Bones, Bones' effect activates special summoning Skull, you can then special summon Nebra Disc from your graveyard because you control only Chronomaly monsters, and then you normal summon the Golden Jet, and the Golden Jet makes these 2 4s and this a 5, and then you make the 2 Chronomaly Xyzes we play in the extra deck, and you deal massive damage. So that's your main combo, but we'll get to that later. But that's the main play you want to be making. We are still playing Chronomaly, so we are going to be playing an Artifact engine as well. We are playing the 1 Moraltach because it's sadly limited to 1. The 2 copies of Artifact Beagaltach. Just the one that makes your combos, the one that lets you make your rank 5s, and 2 copies of Artifact Scythe. Now, this card is so-so. Scythe is incredibly good against everything in the metagame except for Necros, and it's awful against Necros, which is the trade-off. Against every other deck, you can usually lock them into leaving really tiny, bad monsters on the field if you make a good play with this card. However, against Necros, it's pretty much irrelevant because they do not use their extra deck, ever. They do not special summon into extra deck monsters unless you're going to be blocking them from making a Genlock play. That's about the only thing you can use this for. So it's so-so. But that's the Artifact engine that we play in a nutshell. And then finally we play 2 copies of Effect Veiler as our... It's mainly as our main Trishula out. Like, this deck does no answer to Trishula, so you have to play answers. It gets so bummed by that card, but it is what it is. We have to play the 2 Effect Veiler for that. And, I mean, it's, of course, really good at breaking up combos as well when you don't have your Artifact Scythe to stop that. For the spells are pretty simple, pretty powerful. We play 1 Raigeki because we want to clear out the Jinlock, 2 Dark Holes because we also want to clear out the Jinlock and just clear out big boards because sometimes this deck has trouble shifting big boards. We play the 1 Book of Moon, again Jinlock, and just it's a really versatile card. The 2 Artifact Ignition because we are playing the Artifact engine. I feel like 2 is enough. 3 was a bit too heavy for me, so I'm playing the 2. 2 copies of Instant Fusion. We are playing the 2 Instant Fusion targets in this, just to make our Xyz plays just a little bit more consistent. So the 2 Instant Fusion are shoo-ins in my opinion. And then the 3 copies of Pot of Duality, because if you don't open your Nebra disc, your deck's going to be pretty slow. The deck is already pretty slow as it is, so you really don't have to worry about your dualities too much. A lot of the time you will just be adding cards and setting them because they're going to be artifacts, or you're going to be adding Nebra disc. You really shouldn't be special summoning unless you're comboing off, so that's where the 3 dualities come in. So that's the complete spell lineup. For the trap lineup, it's very, very simple. We're playing 3 copies of Artifact Sanctum, because of course we're playing an Artifact engine. Why wouldn't you play 3 of the best card for that engine? It's absolutely insane. Absolutely love this card, so I would always play it in that engine. We're then playing the 3 Fiendish Chain. Again, another Trishula out. Another out to just stop combo plays, stop your opponent going off all over the place. So it's just really, really strong. And in my opinion, it's really good for decks like this that sometimes have to slow roll into Xyz plays, or you can just use it for general protection. It brings me back to a lot of my kind of old, late 2012 kind of memories when this card was really, really popular, and just the grind game was really, really solid and really good with this card. I'm then playing the double Mirror Force. I was playing 3, but I had to find room for the instant fusion, so I had to cut 1 down. I'm feeling like 2 is perfect. I've got so much anti-monster in the deck anyway that the two are a perfect battle deterrent. The Dark Holes and the Raigeki do the rest. And then I'm playing 3 one-offs in the form of 1 Bottomless, 1 Torrential, and 1 Ring. I'm still not a huge fan of Solemn Warning. Some people will call me bad for saying that, but I'm still not a huge lover of Solemn Warning. I'm still really just enjoying the Bottomless, the Torrential, and the Ring, because I feel like they're the 3 most disruptive cards at the moment, with, of course, the least kind of danger to your life points. So I'm liking those the most. And then my phone is now screaming at me with regards to my battery, so I've got to be pretty quick with the rest of this deck. So for the extra deck, we're playing the 1 Gorgonic Guardian because you can make it. This card's actually surprisingly good, but you can make it with the skull and the bones, and then the Zenmaines. Those are the only 3s I play because you should almost never be making the 3 play unless you have the rocket, because the 4 play is so much better. For our 4s, we're playing the Exciton Knight, the 101, the Castel, the Dweller, the Giant Hand, and the Chronomaly Chateu Hyuk. Hyuk is pretty cool in that his effect, let's see, once per turn during either player's turn, as a quick effect, you can detach an Xyz material from this card and target an opponent's face-up monster and change its attack to 0 until the end of the turn, so it can make stuff crash into it, which is pretty cool. And then once per turn you contribute 1 Chronomaly monster, then target 1 monster your opponent controls whose current attack is different from its original and destroy it, so it really hates on that kind of difference in attack. The cool thing about this card is it tandems really well with Chronomaly Machu Mech. Of course, if you find your opponent has a big monster on board, you can make its attack 0, burn them for that difference, and then attack over it with an enormous Machu Mech if you're able to make that 4-5 play that I showed you earlier, because you would normally make these 2 and just combo for big, big damage, which is really, really good. So for the 5s, of course, we play the Machu. 2 Pleiades, because I found myself making 2 quite frequently, or finding the need for the second. So the double Pleiades, the 1 Volcasaurus, and the 1 Artifact Durendal. Artifact Durendal is another another kind of alternative, if you will, or kind of card blocker for the Necros matchup. It's just another out to some of their spells that they're going to be playing. It's only so useful, especially seeing as if they have no cards on board, they can just throw a ritual spell into it, and then they can just banish that ritual spell to go again. But it's an out. It's a way out. So it's in there if we need it. And then we play the instant fusion targets of Camion Wizard and Guilty of the D-Knight. Of course, the Camion Wizard is not important, but the D-Knight is really important because it's a light target, so you can use it to make your Pleiades. So yeah, guys, that brings me to about the end of this profile. I hope you've all enjoyed. I'm really sorry I've had to keep this a bit snappy, but I really don't want to run out of battery mid-flow. So I hope you've all enjoyed. I am definitely kind of glad to be able to bring this out of my binder, and I'm hopefully going to be bringing you guys some more obscure stuff from this set very, very soon. As always, this has been Jamie the Kid 00. Please feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want to see more of the same, comment down below if you want to talk to me about this one, or share it with your friends if you think they'd benefit from it. Hope to see you guys soon with some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Related content. Peace out. Bye-bye.